Well, several efforts been shot into the atmosphere. We've done series and several campaigns. Unfortunately, things are not improving.
Okay.
It's not improving.
Why do you say that?
The biggest of the challenge of road safety is road user attitude. The attitude is descending by the day.
Right. Now,
Unfortunately.
Right. Road user attitude is one of the pillars of the United Nations road safety advocacy. Is that correct?
Correct.
So why is it not improving? What's happening there? Is it that we're not doing enough? We've not deployed the right strategies? Or what is responsible really for this rather, how would I describe that, your assessment? I mean, not very bright.
Well, in the road safety corridor, like I said earlier, a couple of minutes now, I said human behavior is the biggest of the challenges in road safety management. If you pave the road, mark everything, put signages, and when the people don't obey, then they are making life difficult. They are endangering other road users. But government has not given the adequate support to advocacy, and that is enforcement. Government may not do advocacy as much as we will do, but however, part of what we seen before is government's involvement in advocacy.
Okay.
And so government getting involved in advocacy also throws additional weight and light to whatever campaign that you are after.
Right.
And then compliance becomes necessary when they know that enforcement is standing somewhere, wearing her glasses and just watching.
Right. So let's understand the divide now. So we have advocacy on the one hand, we have enforcement on the other for it to be very, very good as it relates to road safety. So, and from your assessment, the advocacy component, how have we fared? Over 10 or over 100?
Right now, advocacy is like 3 over 10.
3 over 10? In spite of all the noise that we're making? You mean it's just 3 over 10?
Advocacy is 3 over 10.
Why do you say that?
You see, when we keep advocating, as we advocate, what we desire to see following advocacy is an improvement to what you're talking about.
Okay. But I mean, look at this, the circumstance that we are. You have advocacy programs left, right, and center, and people not obeying. So it's not the lack of advocacy that is responsible.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's not the lack of advocacy that is responsible. It is the response of the people. And the response of the people, part of what makes people respond is because they know enforcement hammer is dangling.
Good. So if you say advocacy is 3 over 10, so what would you give to enforcement?
Enforcement is 1.5.
Okay. So enforcement abysmally low.
Extremely.
Let's look at that. I mean, from the perspective of the United Nations and what they say, how should enforcement be handled? What kind of a strategy will make enforcement work?
Yeah, in the today world, years ago, enforcement, you had to be physically on ground to enforce. In the today world, technology has improved your physical presence. For example, let's say Third Mainland Bridge is 35 miles per hour, and you get to Yanawuru at 9:05.
Right.
There's a camera that reads your plate number that you are at Yanawuru at 9:05. If at 9:07 you are at Obalende, it showed that you were driving at 160 miles per hour. A camera takes that plate number and it is processed back end. Okay. Your speed is determined and a ticket is mailed to you.
Okay.
So there is no physical human being there, but enforcement
Has taken place.
has taken place.
Hmm.
But is he in this part of the world, there was a time that there was a slogan in the city: the fear of last mile is the beginning of wisdom.
All right.
There was a time the fear of FRSC was the beginning of wisdom. The fear of VIS, then they were known as VIO, was the beginning of wisdom. But today, in between that time and now, some things came in, like government pronouncement, staff attitude. It then began to dent the image of the agencies, and the drive of the ones that are even fully committed began to go down.
All right.
For example, a vehicle was contravened an outer marina,
All right.
a commercial bus, and the guy was ready to beat up the last mile guy. I stopped and took charge of the situation, and the guy was saying, I'm a party member. I'm a party member. So I insisted that that vehicle must be taken to the base.
All right.
And so I followed. We took the vehicle to Olowu. Before we got to Olowu, we have phone calls have been exchanged. So our political intervention
Meant that you had to release the vehicle.
meant that we had to release the vehicle. So I do that, you are doing that, the next person is doing that. We're killing the system.
All right. Okay, so in that case, enforcement becomes a little bit handicapped.
Correct.
All right.
And the enforcement agents, they become demoralized.
Okay, so but let's look beyond that, because let's take away the political interventions or the political will, as the case may be. Some have equally said the level of enforcement that we have right now is such that they do not have the wherewithal, they do not have the intellectual bent to really carry out enforcement as it should be. Some have equally labeled them as a group of people who are just out there, trying to seek for their own daily earnings, and in that kind of regard, corruptive tendencies will come in. Do you support that assertion?
Absolutely. The commitment we used to have, because I'm a member of the household, the commitment we used to have is not as much as we currently have.
Why is that?
It's there. We see it on a daily basis. First, because the morale of the people were dampened, and then everybody is most now, let me not say every, quite a large number out there just to see how much they can get for themselves, not necessarily because they need to do the work which they were employed to do. And it's unfortunate that we are where we are, but we cannot continue. If we continue this way, in a couple of years down the road, I mean, this morning as we're coming, for example,
right
at the traffic light of VGC, a commercial bus took the lane he shouldn't have taken. The lane he was on was the lane to do a U-turn.
Right.
He drove on that lane rather than staying on the main carriageway, and he crossed into the path of the vehicles heading towards VI. There was a policeman right at that point. The policeman was holding one small club, and he just used it to tap the bus. That is the extent to which the force itself has lost reputation. When you see a law enforcement agent, you comply immediately. You become born again, if I can use that language.
All right.
But for a law enforcement agent to be physically present, and the law is boldly, confidently abused, then that agency shouldn't even be there in the first place. They've lost their value. You know,
So it's quite unfortunate that we are experiencing that. But looking at the kind of people that we have, they say Nigerians are law-abiding citizens, right?
by words.
Did you say by words?
By words.
Not by. What about action?
By words.
Okay. So what do you think would trigger a change? Really, what is needed?
Yeah, well, the day, Lagos state government has been in the forefront of many things in this country. But you see, the secret of impact is continuity. When you start something and you don't follow through, it's as if you never even started in the first place. Lagos had a traffic conference. We had a traffic conference in this Lagos where resource persons were pulled from different parts of the world. And just to extract and just take a deeper and proper look of where we are, the things we have done, the things we should do, and the things we shouldn't do. And one of the facilitators, who was Swedish, during the course of his presentation said, the monetary value for the life of a Swedish citizen is $3 million. So he asked, what is the monetary value of a life in Nigeria? And all of us were looking at ourselves. So nobody could really put a figure. And somebody said, is somehow, well, how much should we say? So I said, 50 lives for 1 naira. And you see, the day government begins to put value on the life of each citizen and begin to see the time that is being wasted, the lives that are being wasted because of doing the same old thing that we have always done, we'll start seeing changes.
Right. Okay, then, so those are the things that I wanted to reflect on, the kind of changes that we need and how we can really, really get to that point that is needed. Lagos Traffic Radio 96.1 FM. This morning on Your Side Mirror, we have Adenusi Patrick with us. Of course, he's a road safety advocate and CEO Safety Beyond Borders. We're reflecting on road safety advocacy, and we're looking at the global perspective, the global standard model. That's our focus this morning. Very, very shortly, I'll allow you to also join the conversation so that you can also have your say as it relates to what Adenusi Patrick and I are really dwelling on at the moment. Let's take you through the last traffic update that we've got. We did tell you, if you're navigating through the Yanawuru end, it still looks good on the bridge, but watch out for slowness by the time you approach Adekunle and Adeniji. Masha Aguda corridor, it's good movement all the way from Ijesha Expressway connecting Ilasamaja, both the service and main carriageway. We can tell you Yano Itire to Lawansen is good, but watch out for slight delays at Otumba intersection. This is due to traffic light alternation. And of course, if you're approaching Lawansen bus stop proper, a little bit slow there due to commercial activities, and of course the U-turn at that particular point too. Ijesha Road is good, likewise for movement towards Ogunlano exit, linking up with Sele Okota Bridge. It's very, very good. Return journey from Sele Okota Bridge, driving through Ijesha Market. It's a moving traffic being experienced there. Ijesha Market connecting Pakwa Aguda is good, while Aguda to Nepa connecting Olatunde Onimole down to Census through Babs and Nimashao, linking up with Body Thomas Junction. It's a moving traffic being experienced there. Do not forget, Body Thomas Junction to Dunyurili is still blocked off due to road construction, and so you have diversion and counterflow ongoing at that particular location. Body Thomas Junction linking up with Eric Moore Junction, we can tell you is good. Connecting Igomo is good as well, and Ogunlano Drive to Masha Roundabout is beautiful. Karonwi to Kilo down to Masha is good. Adelabu to Masha connecting Onile Goguru, proceeding to Stadium. We can tell you it's a moving traffic being experienced there. All right, then we'll give you more updates as they come in. But I didn't say, Patrick, let's reflect on the best practices and what we should be doing, especially on maintaining better road user attitude. Now, a lot of times in the mornings between the hours of 5 to 8, or probably sometimes 7 to 10, there are certain corridors that are normally blocked or locked down. And this is as a result of people not knowing how to drive well. We have a driver advocacy jingle that's been going on our station, which you also graciously, gave your words of advice. How come we're having these recurrent traffic jams in these areas, part of the city on a daily basis? So would you refer to that as a road user? Is it that people are not ready to learn how to drive properly, or what's really fueling that?
Okay, driving is all about science. It's just like flying. Every pilot follows instructions. Driving is not far from that also. What the driver of a vehicle can, should, and can't are communicated on every inch of the road. That's why you have ticket being issued, fines are imposed when any of those communications are violated.
All right.
First is the fact that we have roads. Bulk of our roads are like shirts in boutiques without buttons.
Why they say that? No signs?
Inadequate signs.
Inadequate signs.
Yes. Now, across the world, one of the best practice for managing traffic is road marking. The lane that you must be on to go to the right is marked. The lane that you have to be on if you are going straight is marked. The lane that you should be if you're making a left turn is marked. But what we have is, yes, now our drivers are gradually going to the driving school. The very first set who didn't go to driving school, where they even find some of those road markings and road signages, they don't even understand what it means.
So they're confused.
So we still have a bulk of ignorant
drivers,
motorists out there.
And how can we correct that? Are they supposed to go back to school?
Yeah, well, to take them back to school, yes and no. Yes, Lagos State government, like I said, is in the forefront. Lagos State built 5 world-class drivers training institutes that each and every one of us can go for refresher. And they didn't make it economical. Highly over subsidized. When it started, it was 1,000 naira there, but I don't know what it is right now. But even if it is still the same 1,000 or 2,000 or even 5,000, it is excessively subsidized.
Okay.
But you see, how many of the drivers have actually gone to that driving school, the Lagos State Lagos Drivers Training Institute,
right,
to update their driving experience? LASDRI, the Lagos Drivers Training Institute, LASMA, and VIS, the three, if they work in sync, we can manage traffic in Lagos and improve it by minimum 70% in 6 months.
How is this going to be done?
LASMA, LASDRI, VIS. VIS to ensure that all the vehicles are roadworthy. LASMA is out to make sure that compliance is fully in place. And LASDRI updates the knowledge of the driving public. And this we can do on site, and also like we are doing now, and also through other medium of communication. They can do video skits and send on WhatsApp, because a lot of people are sharing things.
All right.
Is it so? Now, so the first thing that needs to be done is for government to mark the roads and have signages. We said, oh, only commercial vehicles should go to Lagos State Drivers Training Institute. No, I haven't taken that position from the beginning. My position from the beginning has always been that, look, everybody who is driving in Lagos must, of a necessity, go to LASDRI.
Okay, so that's your recommendation.
From the beginning.
Everyone should go to LASDRI.
Correct.
To update their knowledge once annually.
Yeah, well, the private vehicle, we could say maybe once in 2 years, right? Because in the West, for example, by the time you begin to violate traffic rules and your points are accumulating, one of the ways of onboarding those points is to run to a driving school.
Okay.
To go update your knowledge. So now, I have a friend who used to live in Nigeria. He drove in Lagos for 10 years. He never saw the highway code once. So we are in the world today where you can type on your phone highway code for some states in America, and you will find it and you can download it. So now we should also have gotten to the point right now where the Nigerian highway code can be downloaded